Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. So, how many of you out there right now believe in the government? Now, the Trump government is being truthful, I believe. But over time, how many of you have learned to distrust our government, especially the last one? Especially the last one. Uh, new, new low level. If Trump had got come along, who knows what would have happened? Oh, we'd be in a very bad state, I think. Now, the people of England, uh, they are very much uh, not in agreement with their government. And they're saying that they're close to civil war. I think that at one point, a lot of people thought that America was close to civil war. How many of you think that we're close to civil war now? I don't think I've said all along we would never go into a civil war. There may be conflict in cities. In fact, I think there still is a very strong possibility of that. But for the most part, it's not going to be a civil war where all the states are against each other, like, from the last one. I think it's just going to be some city states that are going to like break out. And they have a lot of illegal alien types that are part of that. Now, a lot of that, you know, illegal alien, I guess, leadership has been removed, and it's trying to be removed as fast as we can. Uh, of course, the deep state basically is keeping a lot of these people from leaving. They're trying their best, as we're seeing from many in the leftist political party, right? That are going down to El Salvador to try and get people back, and trying to go into New Jersey ICE facilities and storm them, and maybe under the belief that they could get some of their MS-13 criminals out of there to make sure that they can continue with their power. So I think it's some of them have the false belief that they'll be able to take power on a physical level, because the other means of taking that power have disappeared. Those being the stealing of elections and so forth. So we're moving into a level where it's going to be very, very strifeful. All right, I've heard this from a lot of people, heard from a lot of psychics, heard from a lot of remote viewers like myself, that we are in the zone of conflict. At this point, I thought we would be deep in a conflict, but I think we're lucky because the President Trump has been very active in pushing back on them, and his team has done a really good job with pushing back on them. So, right now he's overseas, and I would say that was almost not going to happen, right? Because of events that are very close to happening, I believe, here in America. So we're right on the cusp of some very, I think, significant activity that's going to start to really unleash. So somehow, some way, it's been prevented long enough for President Trump to go overseas and have that view that we are still in business. We're gonna make America great again, and all of the deep state activity that's been going on for the last several decades, to destroy America and the world and put us in a globalist, communist hell system, is being reversed on a very fast track, so fast that it's really making their head spin. So I think that's where we're at right now, and I'm going to show you guys a couple different things that are going to kind of like throw you for a little bit of a loop, but we need to go down those rabbit holes and start to realize there are a lot of other things that are happening that we need to be aware of. So I know a lot of people just want to go put their hands over their ears and their eyes and go la 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 la. So that's fine. There's enough of us that are awake that we're basically working together to make things better for you. Right. So you guys that are still believing in 9/11, it's strange to me, but there's still people like that out there. And there's, people that still believe that, I don't know, P. Diddy is a good guy. I just recently saw an interview. It was like they're trying to railroad him. I'm like, are you serious? Because there has been remote viewers that have looked at that situation, and what they're trying to reveal is a surface. What they're trying to put him in prison for is just a surface of extreme badness from the P. Diddy side. All right. So Sean is they're going to do their best to protect him, but it's not going to happen. So a lot of their people that have been resisting, their judges, their judicial system, like we talked about, has to be removed. The corrupt judicial system, that's happening. So all we need to do is look at Letitia James's subpoenas in mortgage fraud scandal, and she's basically so an FHA is a federal loan, and I guess she was working with her father in Virginia to secure. She secured a loan for him. She signed it. She claims that all of this is just nonsense because this is the way criminals are. They deny all the way to the end, and she has to deny because she's part of a larger criminal organization that uses mortgage fraud to money launder, steal, and continue operations, payoffs, and all that kind of stuff. So I've had Sean Taylor on several of my shows on the Rumble side. So on the Rumble side, Sean Taylor, it was really cool because my son Michelangelo was doing my emails. I think it was like 4 years ago. He was doing my emails, and this guy that was from the Nashville Police Force, she was trying to contact me, and Michelangelo contacted him, and they had a nice conversation. And I asked, is this guy legit? Is he good? And he said, yeah, he's totally legit. So Sean Taylor and I had many shows, and Sean Taylor rose very high in viewership, and also people looking at him like Juan O'Savin and a lot of people within the Justice Department and so forth. Of course, he was suppressed during the Biden administration. The deep state was very much in charge during the Biden administration, but not completely. So he disclosed amazing information about mortgage fraud all the way in, of course, Arizona. They stole the election in Arizona so they could protect their mortgage fraud that was coming through the border. And we're talking billions of dollars of mortgage fraud in California, Tennessee, where he's from, all up and down the East Coast. So a lot of disclosure. And he basically sent an email to my wife when he found out about, unfortunately, my son's death. And he said it's because he was stepping into, in Washington, D.C., he was stepping into a particular department that was going to do amazing things with disclosing this mortgage fraud and how the deep state has been using that for money laundering. And he said, it's very sad because I'm where I'm at now because of Michelangelo. So Michelangelo did incredible research. Sean Taylor has done incredible research. And from them, I have learned to do good research. So we're going to look at, this is from Trish Reagan. Trish Reagan basically was a massive Trump supporter at Fox News. And Fox News basically dissed her because she was supporting Trump during the COVID lie, right? And they got rid of her. So she just went off like the rest of us and started to reveal through YouTube and so forth. So let's look at one of the things that she has on Letitia James, and we'll listen to this for a second.
Is that you would pay that loan off first. And so this is a federal offense. The FHA requires the property to be the borrower's primary residence within 60 days of closing. So, Letitia, honey, baby, you're looking at 30 years in jail. This is unbelievable.
So 30 years in jail, guys. 30. She's looking at 30 years in jail. Now, you know that, or maybe you don't, but the ICE just seized Rikers Island, which is a massive prison complex. It's an island, Rikers Island, where high-level criminals are. They seized that from New York City. So we know New York City has been the bastion of like Letitia James and so many other people. Trump, it was so bad that Trump, who grew up there, spent his whole life there, has many businesses and luxury, uh, you know, high-rise apartments. He had hotels and all kind of crazy stuff. He had to leave because it was so bad. And now some of the people that were involved in that are probably going to go to Rikers Island. And of course, Letitia James needs to go there for 30 years, at least, because we don't want her to come back and start her bullshit again. And all of these other people that have done their stuff to destroy America and put us in a position where during this upcoming possible extinction level event, that many of us would not survive it. Right. So yeah, that's going to be, yeah. And who knows, Truth or Mike, maybe it will be 60 years. So it depends on how much stuff they have. This could be the beginning. So she is part of that deep state legal system that has come after good people, and not just President Trump, many good people. So that's a problem that we're seeing right now. And the solution, of course, is to start to put these people away. So we're seeing Rikers Island in New York is going to start to hold some of these criminals, I believe. So many of us thought that, how are they going to get these people? They're going to have to do military tribunals because they're going to be fast acting. I think they're going to start to move very quickly on people like Letitia James. And they just recently moved on that one judge in Wisconsin that interfered with ICE arresting a criminal. So and hopefully I think she's got upwards of 10 years. So hopefully they just throw that book at these people and set the example so that more people won't get out of line. All right. So, and then those people that have gotten out of line justice should be done. So, obviously the treasonous people, that we know there's many, they will be going to, I think, Guam and, another island that's way out there in the middle of the Pacific. I spent some time there as a Navy SEAL. And also, of course, down in Gitmo. So Gitmo will probably be, the spa, as we like to call it. It's a luxury island. A luxury island. And that's going to probably hold a lot of the treasonous ones, because that's where, that side of the judicial system can get involved. And depending on the level of the treason, they might just be there for a little period of time before they go bye-bye. All right. They may never be able to see what the earth might be like in 30 years. So that's what we're looking at for a lot of these people. Of course, on the other coast, there's probably a lot of people that need to be going to prison as well for a lot of different crimes that they have done. And that will be Magatraz. Not Alcatraz, but we're going to start to call that Magatraz. So Magatraz. So that's another one that Trump has mentioned that could be up and running soon. So we have a lot of people that have committed incredible crimes against America, guys. We know that. It's just getting to the point where the judicial side is basically the corrupt judicial side that protects them is those fences are brought down that protects them. So that's I think we're moving so fast in that direction. It's making the deep state head spin happen on a massive. Like what was that one movie where the little girl, like her head spun around, right? That was a good movie. And that's pretty much what the deep state's doing right now. So, all right. So now on another level, so we know that these people are operating in the background, in the administration as well. Exorcist, yes, thank you. Unique approach. So The Exorcist. What was that? It's like that. I don't. I'm not even going to say. I'm not even going to like do the thing because it's like it's low vibrational music. So we're not going to go there. So Valiant Thor, very good. Are you from Venus, Valiant Thor? So, all right. So let's look at one of these other ones because we have Tulsi Gabbard that's revealing as well that they have high crimes. So this is a high crime one.
National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard is here, and she's saying this: deep state criminals, and she puts them on notice, referring to 2 alleged leakers of classified info of the DOJ for prosecution. So 2.
Okay, so this is Gitmo, possibly long-term stay at Gitmo and maybe even execution, guys.
Or a comment. 3rd referral is on the way. Here to explain is the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Director, great to see you in person. Good to see you, Brian. So I read about this. You indicated to me this was happening. 2 people have been found to be leaking. A 3rd on its way. Can you give me the nature of the leaks and how you discovered it? Let's just first of all point out what we know has been the problem for a very long time. One of the reasons why the American people voted resoundingly for President Trump was to root out the kind of politicization and weaponization of intelligence that has really undermined the trust the American people have in the intelligence community and the national security state, but really what also directly undermines our own national security. So I made it very clear to the U.S. Senate, to the American people when I had the honor of being appointed to this position, that we will not allow this to continue. We take this very seriously. It is illegal to leak classified information. And so what you're seeing here is me carrying out in the promise and the mandate the American people gave Trump. We conducted our own internal investigation. We have referred them now to the Department of Justice and the FBI for an official criminal investigation because these are crimes and people need to be held accountable to put a stop to this. When you were Congresswoman, we talked about this. There's people within the department not undermining, not selling secrets to Russia or China. Well, we're keeping an eye out for that too. Absolutely. Yes. Undermining the policy of the administration, the first administration, working against you at the CIA, working against you. Now you're finding this out. So you found people who seem motivated to undermine the president. When we look at the examples that I've seen just in the short time that I've been in this position, what they consist of is essentially very selective leaks to their friends in the propaganda media that twist and manipulate intelligence directly to undermine the president's policies and his aggressive work to keep the American people safe. So
all right. So what say you, Trish?
I'm not messing around here. I just want to point out that, interestingly, the timing on this is probably not a coincidence because
all right, not a coincidence. I completely agree. So we're basically shutting this down. We're shutting the system down that's been corrupt for decades, guys. Very, very long, and it's turning into survival for the deep state, and they're not going to survive, and they're running. They're going to run, and they're going to try and hide, but they won't be able to hide. All right, so if you look at, you know, how the deep state basically comes up to you, Trish Reagan, Fox Business benches Trish Reagan after outcry over her coronavirus comments. So this is all the way back in March 2020 when the lockdown started, guys. So Ms. Reagan, Trish Reagan Primetime, always liked her show. She was really, she really cut to the chase, like you just saw. It's good to see that she's out there still doing the work, like Tucker Carlson, who also got canned by the deep state Fox News channel. So still, their abrupt removal of Ms. Reagan, a reliably pro-Trump personality. So the Mockingbird media, including Fox, which many of us thought was a good channel, which proved otherwise, went after everyone that supported Trump. They were in very much control, guys. There for the first year or two, they were coming after everyone Many of us, Trump, of course, and many of us, thousands, probably millions of us, were blocked off of X. We were suppressed on Facebook, or completely blocked off Facebook. We lost our channels on YouTube, but now we're starting to make a comeback. But it's a slow road to make this comeback. Thank you to everyone that's coming back, and coming back into the channel, finding them back on YouTube. It's been a long time, I know, years. It was the same thing on X. X has been a slow grind to recover all the subscribers too, because even though it's supposedly free speech again, we know that there's still suppression, people that are still suppressing us within these free speech platforms. There's still an organization, even though they're allowing us to come back and talk. Obviously, there's some pressure on them to do that. There's still people that are working behind the scenes, whether it's X or YouTube, like I'm back in YouTube, or any of the other ones, guys. Rumble suppressed, many of us massively suppressed on Rumble, although they'll say otherwise. So Ms. Reagan's remarks delivered on her show Monday caused many colleagues at Fox News Business and his corporate cousin, Fox News, to cringe. Coronavirus impeachment scam. So mass hysteria to encourage a market sell-off. She accused Democrats of creating mass hysteria to encourage a market sell-off. Sowing fear that the virus and remember, we did have a massive sell-off. And if you guys remember, all the way back in 2019, I was saying there was going to be a massive market sell-off. And I even predicted up to like 150 points of where it would go. So this is not anything new. We have seen this manipulation for a long time. Is it pretty much over? It's moving in that direction. It's moving in that direction, and we really need that, especially in the next year and a half, 2 years, guys, because we're going to go through some serious problems. All right. So, what do you mean? What do you mean, Miguel? Miguel, the man who can see into the future. What do you see? Well, let's listen.
I think that whether it's a pole shift, magnetic pole shift is one of the, theories of what causes these events. But there is a history of near extinction events. And one of the things that I've looked at, because I'm trying to figure out, between fiscal 1998 and fiscal 2015, there were 21 trillion of undocumentable adjustments in the U.S. government. If you go to our website, missingmoney.slayer.com, we have years and years of documentation, including the government financials that show this. And so the question is, where's all this money going? And one of the things I've looked at in the process of looking at where all this money is going is the underground base and city infrastructure and transportation system that's been built. And I'm sorry. Yes. So we have built an extraordinary number of underground bases and supposedly transportation systems. Some of these are some of these are documented as part of the national security infrastructure. I think there are many more. So in the United States? In the United
All right. So now Tucker, I don't know if he's playing like he doesn't know this. So that he, gets more people to like, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that don't know about this, but I say many in this audience are completely aware of this. This is not anything new whatsoever. I believe that a lot of these underground DUMBS, deep underground military bases, have been taken back from the deep state on a massive scale. We've talked about this for almost 5 years, how this has been an ongoing process and how the military was trained to do this. I've talked to people that have told me this is going on. So I believe that the deep state, they like to play their little games where they go underground when there's times where the climate up here gets a little cold, and they come back, or there's flooding, or there's fire, or whatever happens. The next one's supposed to be fire, but we'll see how that works out. So why wouldn't we prepare for that? Why wouldn't we let everybody know, hey, it's going to get a little rough up here on the surface. Let's go down underground and hang out. Because there's been a lot of Indians, like the Hopi Indians, have memories of they call them the ant people that took them underground. I know this is going to be stretching a lot of people, and they're like, the ant people. So it doesn't matter. What matters is she's talking about how there's underground DUMBS that have been built to the tune of 21 trillion. I promise you it's way, way higher than that. And they've been ongoing for a long time. Some of these deep underground military bases have been there for thousands of years, guys. They've been there for a long time. Not all of them. So there's huge cities. And she talks about it.
It's on all over the world. But from 2021 to 2023, I took one of the smartest subscribers in the Slater Report network. And he and I spent 2 years collecting all the data and all the allegations on underground bases. And then we systematically went through and tried to estimate our guess. This is totally a guess of how many underground bases, both underground in the United States, but also underground under the ocean around the United States. And our estimate was 170.
170. I promise you there's a lot more than that. All right. There's moon bases, there's Mars bases, underground. In fact, all of the planets in our solar system have underground DUMBS. And we're going to find this out. So why wouldn't we be allowed to go into these underground DUMBS on this planet, other planets, and on massive starships that are out there? Why wouldn't we? There's no reason why. And we're moving in that direction. So we're taking down this deep state apparatus that's been controlling us for quite some time. And it's moving along. And we need to be involved in this because our future is very much dependent on us coming to the point where we understand why President Trump and his team are working so diligently and so fast, as we're going to see, to secure these facilities for us. So it's going to be it'll be very interesting. So I've been saying for years, because I have memories of underground bases in the ocean or undersea bases. If you go all the way back to Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea and some of these old programs where they were flying, they had submarines, and then they had like this little submersible that would fly out from the submarine, and it would be underwater, and then it would fly up into the air, and then it would go back down on the water. I remember seeing that when I was a kid. That's over 60 years ago. They were disclosing this stuff, guys. So this is not anything new. But what is new is that we're being given the information that it's there. So it's going to be resistance because people don't want to believe that the government would actually do something like this. I remember telling people about 9/11, and there were very, very smart people, still smart people, that believe the 9/11 narrative. Planes crashing in the building and falling in its footprint. And not just falling in its footprint, but actually the debris disappearing. So never in history has anything like that ever happened, except for 9/11. And so the people that are involved in that, I've disclosed a lot of this information over here. So it's a lot of people. So I would say probably upwards of 85 to 95% of people don't believe the narrative, the false narrative on 9/11. There's still some that can't believe it because it would shake their world and what they're involved in so significantly that they just ignore it. They just go, I. All right. So that's it's okay. It's okay to those people do that. There's enough of us that have awakened that we can handle what needs to be done. So we're moving that direction, but still there's a lot of work to be done. Now let's look at the the information of the what I'm looking at is a grand solar minimum. All right, so I'm going to go through a few of these so you understand what this is, what I'm talking about. All right. So here you have a solar minimum. Now, this has happened many times in the past. It's something that happens. All it is sunspot activity, and solar flare activity diminishes and often does not occur for days at a time. On average, the solar cycle takes about 11 years to go from one solar minimum to the next, with duration observed varying from 9 to 14 years. The date of the minimum is described by a smooth average over 12 months of sunspot activity. So if we look back in time, we go all the way back to the Homeric minimum, all right? Started about 2,800 years ago and lasted around 200 years. That was a long one. And we saw, of course, a decrease. Athens was a rule of the world at the time, and then it wasn't, mysteriously. And if you look at the history, there's all kind of crazy stuff that was happening during that time frame. They talk about they were battling in these battles, and the sun stayed in the sky for like 2 days. It didn't move. So obviously the earth froze. And you're like, well, that's just somebody just making something up to make the story really good. So the Battle of Troy. But on the other side of the globe, where the Mayans are, they said it was dark for 2 days. They have those stories. So you have to start to look at this stuff and go, okay, why don't we know this stuff? Obviously, it's recorded. So why don't we know this stuff? Because there are evil people that take advantage of these situations and call global warming when it's actually we're in a process of global cooling. All right. Then there was a Roman warm period, medieval maximum. All right. So there, wolf minimum, spore minimum. All right. Looks like about 100 years. The Maunder minimum was one of the longer ones in recent history. It lasted, looks like 70 years. So there's beginning, there's a peak, and then it comes back down to a normalized. All right. So the last one was a Dalton minimum. Now I want you to remember these dates: 1790 to 1820. 1790, 1820. So 30 years. So now we have been in a modern maximum. So minimums and maximums, back and forth, back and forth. So just like, there's a summer and a winter on the other side of that, spring, fall, blah, blah, blah. All right. Now, since 1914, we've been in a global warming, yes, till 2008. But they've been working this on us. They say that it's continuing so that they can get the edge on us, so they can build their DUMBS. And when this happens, they go underground while we die on the surface. And then they come back and we're like, oh, please save us. And then they come back and they help us out. And we see them as like our heroes and our saviors. So this is something that's been happening for a long time. These criminals, these psychopaths keep doing this. And it's time for that to end. Right. So if you look at, let's look at the year where there was no winter. The year there was no winter. So this is documented fact. And let me pull that up. The year without a summer. I'm sorry, not a winter, but the year without a summer. So I think I got it there. All right. So yeah. The year without a summer was 1816. So remember that Dalton minimum went from 1790 to 1820. So it's within that period. So this is probably the peak of it. And then it started to come out of that. And then gradually came out of it. And we had a maximum. And now we're moving into a minimum, as I'm going to show you. 1816, also known as the year without a summer, poverty year, 1800, and froze to death. All right. So there was also, when we have these minimums, there's volcanic activity, which accentuates the freezing that happens because there's dust in the air and it blocks the sun and so forth. But the dust in the air can have another effect where we actually have, we're basically creating like a solar dome, like a sun house. And that causes things to heat up. And they've been saying that because of pollution, we're basically having, warming. It's because of man that we have pollution. A lot of the chemtrailing that we've seen over the last several years has been to actually promote this, guys, and to keep the sun, the warmth here on Earth. There's some of that, and there's also with the particulate that's in the air. If they tried to do a EMP, electromagnetic pulse, on us, it wouldn't work because we have the atmosphere filled with micro, like aluminum and other chemicals, right? Now, we know that there is a negative effect of that, but there's also a positive one. It keeps us from being EMP'd by our enemies, and it also keeps the sun from EMPing us. So there's lots of different reasons why that's going on. At some point, it's not going to work, I don't believe, but it is interesting. So the event, they say, was primarily caused by a massive volcanic eruption of Mount Tambora in Indonesia in 1815. All right, so they blame it on a volcano, but the volcanic activity increases because when you don't have sunspot activity, then you have these massive bursts from the sun, like we've been having lately. And we've been having some serious earthquakes, and we've been having lots of snow. This last year was a lot of snow and cold in a lot of areas. Not everywhere, but in a lot of areas. So I said it was going to be a long, cold winter, and for a lot of areas, it has been. Up in Lake Tahoe, they're going to get another round of snow in the high mountains, and they're going to get them in Colorado a little bit in the high mountains. So it still is snowing in some areas, but we're going to move into a little bit of a drought, I believe, this year. A little bit of a drought, and the next year is going to be a lot colder, a lot more snow. So cyclic period. So we got reduced sunlight during these time frames, atmospheric impact, eruption, lots of volcanic activity. We're seeing volcanic activity starting to increase over the last several years. So that's where we're at, guys. 1816, like I said, there was no summer. So they're saying the cloud blocked. Yes, there was some of that. Crops failed across Europe and the U.S. due to the cold or lack of sunshine causing grain and oat prices to soar. Torrential rains flooded crops in Ireland. There's been lots of rains all over the place. Novel strains of cholera killed millions in India. Crime became rampant and people starved in many countries. So we're moving into, imagine we're moving into another period like that. Everything's ramped up. Everything will get ramped up significantly. So during that same time frame, we had New Madrid earthquakes. This was 1811 and 1812. So the New Madrid earthquakes were a series of intense intraplate earthquakes, beginning with an initial earthquake of 7.2 to 8.2, right? It was probably closer to 8.2, maybe even higher, right? Because we saw incredible things. The Mississippi River actually reversed its course in the river. The banks all around the Mississippi River collapsed. There was lots of subsidence and upwelling. They don't really mention all the stuff that happened. Again, shielding the public from what really happens during these events. So there's many accounts where people talk about all this stuff. And let me share some of those with you. All right, so look at this account right here. So vast rents or fissures were made in the earth to an extent unknown. Some of these fissures received the waters of the river and now this wasn't during that time frame in Missouri and the Mississippi, all around this area, Kentucky, I think, there wasn't a lot, the Madrid fault line, there wasn't a lot of people during that time frame. So we're only getting like pieces of information, but the people that did live there probably were affected massively. Frequent rumbling sounds were heard resembling distant thunder, and numerous heavy reports indicative of explosions seemingly from the bottom of the river. Now, I can tell you that if you're on a boat, like there's descriptions of people being on boats, and it's just they don't really notice anything, but they see the banks are falling. They see like the water, like rising up, logs from the bottom of the river, being thrust up into actually airborne, because rivers, logs fall into the trees fall into the river, and they sink. They get waterlogged, and they sink. They're on the bottom. So people were talking about how these logs were thrust up into the air. So when I was in California, there was some pretty significant earthquakes that were happening when I was in the SEAL teams, and I remember being in my rental apartment, and it shook like crazy. And I remember getting up and running outside, and the building was like swaying back and forth. There was a huge earthquake up in LA, and I guess there was massive destruction, but it came all the way down into San Diego area where I was. Some of our guys were out in the water. This was during the day, doing a training dive. The guys that were underwater thought that a massive tugboat had gone over, and they thought they were caught up in the props or something. They got like thrust all around, and then they came to the surface, and they didn't see any boats, and they saw the safety boat that was on the surface, and they were like, "What are you guys doing?" They didn't even know there was a massive earthquake. But in the water, it was like they were just like tossed around. So there's crazy stuff that happens during these earthquakes. And the Madrid earthquake fault line, it was unbelievable. Some of the earth went liquid, and there's places where this happened. There's a description of it. So it was pretty significant. So when did this happen? It happened during the Dalton minimum. So we're moving into another one of these periods, and they're not telling us. They're saying, yeah, it's global warming, where we need to be aware that we're moving into a global minimum. Now, of course, Al Gore said there was not going to be any polar ice. They all lied, of course, because that's what they do. They open their mouths, they're lying. So let's look at the chart. 2020 is when, as you see here, the accelerated loss, like I talked about, through 2008 to 2016, it got very low, 2017, and then it came back up, and then it went back down again in 19. And as you see, from 2020 all the way to now, it doesn't show 2025 yet, but you see it's an abrupt gain. So massive gain in ice at the polar ice caps, guys. So they've been lying to us, and we need to be aware that we're moving into a period of time where there's possibly going to be massive destruction, earthquakes. I've seen these earthquakes coming, and tsunamis and volcanoes and all kind of crazy stuff. So it's time to be aware and pick where you want to live. All right. So that's enough of that. I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm trying to keep everybody aware. Just be aware. All right. Because the deep state's not going to tell us. And even the good guys probably aren't going to tell us yet. All right. They don't want everybody panicking, so I'll help you. All right. I'll help you. And now that I'm talking about it, maybe more people will talk about it on the good guy side. So now let's focus on the evil that's out there. because we need to clean these people up so that we aren't suppressed during a time frame where we need to be working together, and maybe going into I don't know, underground DUMBS or other places around the solar system. So Epstein Island Kitchen. So James O'Keefe releases first ever inside videos of the structures, and I guess he's got a lot more coming. Now watch what this is. A kitchen. Now watch how he describes this.
Kitchen is a sterile white with
sterile white. As you can see here, the walls are just white. It's got the metallic, looks like a wolf stove or something, pretty high end. But everything is designed probably for chefs to come in and fix for large groups of people. But there's some very interesting things in this video. So let's look.
Steel appliances. There are sparse decorations, including a few pieces of coral, but there does appear one prominent artwork, a large framed photo of a nude baby in a sink. The baby is holding a...
Now, what do you guys think is in that? What substance do you think might be in that container? That looks like some kind of red substance, right? And why would this be the only video or the only picture in this very sparse white kitchen? It's very, very sketchy, right?
Shaped object. The image is hung above the kitchen table. It begs the question, why did Jeffrey Epstein choose to place this image inside of a kitchen where visitors would eat, cook, and entertain? The publication of this footage comes on the heels of a report last week of a royal fixer admitting Prince Andrew had sex with underage girls. And also after a report last week on Attorney General Pam Bondi. Since those reports aired, we've received an uptick in outreach and tips, and we've heard from these sources that they don't trust anybody due to the lack of transparency and accountability in the United States government.
Okay, guys. So everything's moving very quickly now. We're disclosing a lot of stuff. But I think it's very imperative that it needs to move very quickly, like me and my other amigos have talked about before Trump actually came into office. He had been elected, and we're saying he's got to hit the ground. He's got to hammer it down. And he has been. His team has done an unbelievable amounts of information. Unsub from James Patrick. So my thoughts are that James O'Keefe is insider revealer. So you can unsub if you want, but you're going to miss out on information that he's going to reveal. And you'll get it one way or the other, because as he reveals, and he had a party on his rooftop. Everybody's saying, he had a party and he's scared for his life. He's wearing body armor. It's all part of the show, guys. Come on. Don't get so hypercritical. There's a lot of things are being revealed, like that right there. So how is he having access to these videos? He has been given the right to reveal this stuff. All right. And we need to pay attention. So obviously there's going to be attacks against a lot of people. I've had attacks against me over the years. It is what it is. All right. So yeah, truth of Mike, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So calm down, just pay attention. Just watch. I've never subscribed to him. As stuff gets released, he was really good with the COVID reveal in the very early stages. He did a really good job. I liked his work. It helped me advance very quickly and understanding the depth of the COVID lie and manipulation that was going on with the hospitals and so forth, where they were saying they give us videos of, lines of people at hospitals, and then people like O'Keefe and other people came in, a day later, and it's like, where's the lines of people? And the people there and staff are like, what are you talking about? So when were these videos done? So this happened all over the world. So we know there was incredible corruption going on. So scamdemic for sure, absolutely. And so that's all, we all know that. We all know what was going on in the Jeffrey Epstein Island and all those places. We know the depth of the atrocity that was happening. That little kid, we know what's going on there. We know what that blood vial was, right? And we know that happened in P. Diddy parties. Are they going to have that in his trial? It's too much, guys. It's too much. They can't handle it yet. They can't handle it yet. Now, some of you are like, what are you talking about? And it's like, so, you see, you don't even know what I'm talking about. You don't even know what's in that vial. Little baby, stuff that comes out of a baby that they do horrible things to, and it adrenals into its blood. You don't know about that? All right. So it is one of the things that is going to be their downfall. And when someone is caught, that has been involved with that, you're done. Carte blanche, no questions, straight to jail, straight to execution, whatever happens, right? So yeah. So some of you guys are saying in the chat. So, all right, good. You know what I'm talking about. Some of you. The rest of you got to do the research. I can't go. I don't know how far I can go here on YouTube. I've been going far, but yeah, I'm not going to go, but so far. And it's probably better anyway, because I have a mix. I have kids that actually watch this, right? Some people bring in their kids, and I know that. So I keep my language best I can. I stay calm, and I reveal information that most people aren't willing to go to. And like you saw with Tucker Carlson, he's like, "Excuse me, about the underground DUMBS." Did he legitimately not know that? So, and to his credit, there are a lot of people at his caliber and above that really don't. Right? So this is lose number 18. Yeah. Yes, Senor Roja. Yes. So yeah, we don't want to lose this one. So just getting started again. So we'll see what happens. But there will be reveals like this. There will be tongues wagging about all this information. So I know a lot of you do that in certain circles, but you can't, as you know, you can't reveal this stuff in certain circles. Certain circles you can. Some circles you try and give them a little piece, and they get their ears clog up and their eyes glaze over and their mouths zips shut, right? And then okay, no more for this one. All right, so I think that the collapse of China is here. And when I say the collapse of China, this financial meltdown that's happening in China is destroying the deep state China. Now, the deep state is being destroyed across the world. Trump is making that happen very quickly with the tariffs. The tariffs are destroying the deep state, and that's part of what we want to see. We need to see this, and we need to see it happen on a progressive level. Progressive, I say progressive, but not low. A progressive level, like, okay, China's collapsing. China's ready to do deals. England's ready to do deals. Europe's ready to do deals. Now will Russia and Ukraine be ready to do deals as Trump is overseas? And he has a lot of those Middle Eastern countries that the United States went into and destroyed. I can tell you because I was there. We didn't go there to nation build and help those people out. We went there to destroy those countries, and we did that. All right. Arizona becomes 5th state to ban funding for China-linked organ transplants. So another way of taking deep state money away from the deep state that is within every country. So the organ harvesting. I had this one guy that was in Vietnam. that worked with the UN. And then they started shutting him down because he was exposing the organ harvesting that was going on in in China. In I think the Fengshun, whatever that group is, they're very peaceful, meditative. The deep state does not like people like that. They come after everyone, like we've seen, that has a close connection to Source, to God, and they want to play God. So they come after people that are Falun Gong. That's it, Falun Gong. So they come after people that are involved in that connection to Source and God. Thank you, Falun Gong. Actually, it came to me, and then I looked over, and you had that JDR. Good job. Have I been a cutter? Yeah, I've been a cutter. Yep. So Cutter, I guess, just did a big deal. They're going to buy well over 100 Boeing jets. And you remember under the Biden administration, because Boeing was good with Trump. And then when Trump was gone, the Biden administration, deep state, basically really came after Boeing. So now Boeing is getting they're coming back. So that's good. Boeing's the good guy. So Arizona, like I said, basically they're not allowing this organ harvesting to come anymore. So that's a good thing. And we're going to see more of that. More states are going to say that because a lot of people, unfortunately, that did that, those shots back in 2021 are having all kinds of problems. And organ failure is one of those. And there's China. And then there's all those children that have gone, hundreds of thousands of children that have gone missing that have come into America. Organ harvesting, guys. It used to be you had to wait months and months for organs, years sometimes. And now you can get it almost as fast as you need it. How is that possible? So obviously there's some very sketchy stuff going on. It shouldn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. All right, is Britain on the brink of civil war? So there's different phases. So Britain and Islamist, the English people and Islamists are almost at war with each other. So they talk about how there's civil war exists, preconditions for a civil war exist in Britain. Causation theory and social attitude surveys argues that the following preconditions are in place: elite overreach, that's the deep state, factional polarization, a collapse in trust of the government, economic pressures, like we've been seeing, but Trump Daddy's turning that around here in America, and the perceived downgrading of the majority population in a previously homogenous society are all present in contemporary Britain. They were trying to do the same thing in the United States. All right, that's being turned around. All right, Islamist. All right, so current dynamics, he continues, point to emerging conflict between radicalized factions. So you have the nativists, the people that have been living there for thousands of years, going against the illegal immigration of the Muslim community on the larger part. So when so they're in a defensive phase. Phase one, so-called defensive phase. That's the yep, and that's the white national. They call them white nationals, like they try to say the same thing here in America. And then you have the Muslim extremist, Islamist. They're in phase two when violent attacks occur. So phase three would be open conflict, of course. That'll never happen there in Britain because. Right. So we're seeing some similarities here in America, and we're seeing similarities, obviously, in Canada as well. Should Alberta become the 51st state? I'll talk about that in my next show because I got to jump off and do another show. But yes, I say they should, and there's a very good chance that they will. So you know how Trump has talked about that. Quebec is not going to do that. But we may see Alberta and some other provinces actually want, and it'd be perfect. And I'll talk about that in my next show. and maybe even have some of the people that sponsor that information come on. One of them is Major General Vallely. All right. So lots of love to you guys, and I will see you guys next time.